What's up, everybody, and welcome to Weekday Wagers. As you can tell, I'm not into the friendly confines here as I have so much happening behind me, but we're going to continue on as we always do, coming off of a very successful week last week until now. We have it is a Monday, and it's a beautiful Monday, but the sports world's a little weird right now. It's really only baseball, and so we're getting into that time of the year. But if you're not consistently hanging out with us every day, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here, Coaching Company, then you're missing out on our weekday wagers magic that's happening. And one guy, he's a magician himself. He's the guy who is rolling over there with justthatsports.com. Use the code BTT30 if you want to go ahead and save yourself some coin. Try us out for free. Try the guys out for free. Try Mark and his team out for free just for 30 days using that code. But Mark, how are you, man?
DG, doing great. It feels good to be back in the friendly confines of home. Whenever I travel, it's always that relief of, I'm glad to be back home. I'm especially grateful to be out of that desert heat. As I told you right before we came on, dude, the wind was blowing about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And literally you step outside and it feels like you're standing in front of a hairdryer at low speed. God bless those people that live in a place of the earth where I don't think it's intended for humans to habitat.
It's like a dry heat out in Vegas. But guess
what? It's still hot.
Oh my God, yes, it's still hot. But we're not gonna talk about the weather all show long. But let's go ahead and get into somewhere where it's heating up a little bit, and that is Patrick Corbin Day. And so if you look at Patrick Corbin, he's going up against the Baltimore Orioles tonight. And so instead of looking at the game as a whole, we're going to make a decision and maybe see if we can target some things for you. But just in the last 10 games, Patrick Corbin has kind of slowed. He started off the season fairly well, Mark. And honestly, it's been I guess you couldn't make fun of Patrick Corbin and call it Patrick Corbin Day because he's been pitching well. But he's not pitching very well as of late. And so looking at these numbers, anything that you like or that you'd want to target going up against him?
I really think it's a prime spot to take advantage of Corbin, who, when he got to Texas, it was kind of given a rebirth after leaving the Nationals and having Patrick Day become an official celebration, so to speak. But to your point, he has started to regress back to the mean, and I'm starting to think we're going to see more of the Patrick Corbin that we're used to than the one that showed up in Texas and played the first part of the season. I think any hitting props are all live in this game.
Yeah, and speaking of it, hitting props, you can look right here at how people have fared against Patrick Corbin. And just looking at these stats, I do like, a few guys, Ramon Laureano, who I have a play on here lately, has been heating up and he's been looking really good. But if you're looking, just in small, increments, Jackson Holliday has done well against him. Jordan Westbrook has done, but also the rest of their team, just looking at them, it's just been one, maybe two games, depending on how many times they matched up with them just in general. But realistically, you could target a bunch of guys, but if you want to look at it that way, but you could also look at how do they go against left-handed pitching. And this is another one to look at. Sorry, this is a completely different game. I thought I had, maybe not. Maybe I only did against the pitching on this one.
Corbin.
So, but yeah, just going up against Corbin. But is there anybody that you like today, just in general?
What stands out to me here is the lack. I know Gunnar has faced him 8 times, but hasn't managed to get on base at all. I think that stands out here. I would look at the guys either in front of or especially Ramon Laureano, because with Gunnar Henderson being as ineffective against Corbin as he has been career-wise, that's a guy, he's no longer a threat. So you can go after the 1, 2, and 4, the people, who bookend him without really worrying about, Gunnar doing any damage, and you kind of play it that way. I really like sneakily Gary Sanchez, who has a very, very decent history against Corbin. Cedric Mullins is another one. And Jackson Holliday, I think, is prime.
Yeah. Speaking of Jackson Hollidays, we have a going the yard pick already. Robbie's like Jackson Holiday to go in yard against Corbin, plus 575. Are you feeling that today, Mark?
I might have a play on Jackson Holiday that falls right in line with what Robbie's saying.
Okay. All right. Well, as you're in the chat, if you got a game that you want us to look at, we can go ahead and dive into that. But this is going to be, your Orioles game, and I'm going to target Ramon Laureano here in just a few minutes. But somebody else that you like as well, and looking at these hitters, is for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are going up against Carlos Rodon, and they've done good against left-handed pitching just in general. Vladimir Guerrero has owned Carlos Rodon. I have a play on him already on the Coaching Company, the morning show. It is over the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And so if you want to look at him that way, anybody else that you're looking at, whether it's a matchup against Rodon or just left-handed pitching in general?
I think you got to look at the first half of that lineup and just go, wow, they absolutely can crush Rodon. And that could spell trouble for the Yankees, who struggled against an A's team that they should have destroyed this weekend. So, Bichette, Guerrero, Springer, even Ernie Clement. I expect Ernie Clement to have a bit of a bounce back against the Yankees, but it's that front half of the lineup here that is could be the most damaging for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, and just same thing we're looking at here now, the left-handed pitching. So if we go back and forth on these. So Vladimir Guerrero, the reason I played him earlier, 343 versus left-handed pitching. Let's look at Rodon. He's 667, right? So these are a little bit bigger of a sample size. This season, 2025 against left-handed pitching, they've hit really well. With this, and I don't even know what the number might be, just looking at this game in general, do you think that this might be a game that would go over, even though Rodon has pitched well? This could be a chance to maybe target either Rodon on some unders because he's getting beat up, or some, if he's averaging, allowing too many hits, or if it's the total on this game. What is the model? Do we have any of the model on this game just overall?
So the model pick, I just clicked out of it. Give me 1 second to pull that up. You're catching me live doing this.
No, while you're doing this, Robbie, Rodon gives up the most home runs to the third spot. Vladdy isn't homered on Monday. It's only the red mark on him today. So you might want to look at his walk prop. So that might be good, because if you look at him, Vladimir, going up against, looks like his walk percentage at 11. That's not bad. And he's not striking out a ton either, but just in general, you might look at, he said, third spot could be Kirk going up against a lefty and hitting a home run. It depends on how you want to look at it. But did you find out what the model says on this game?
Yeah, so the model has the Yankees winning almost by that run line margin that has been absolutely dead on so far this season. So there's a 0.92 run differential that the model has identified. Really likes the Yankees here in this spot. I would look to play. The Yankees are projected 4.99 runs, so maybe an over 4.5 is a good way to approach the Yankees. I just think that when you look at what they have done what Toronto has done, that was the slide up before, against left-handed pitching, you really start to see the front half has owned Rodon, but that second half of the lineup now against left-handed pitching in general this season is lights out. I mean,
right.
You know what I mean? Clace is the only one there with the red lines going through it. So I really think Toronto has a good shot to go over their 4.5.
Yeah, and then what Mark's talking about here is, if you look at the matchups versus Rodon, the top four, Alejandro, Kirk hasn't hit well. Everybody's been, not great against Rodon, but just in general, that is the lifetime against Rodon, who, that you don't know what the issues, or when they played them, you don't know if it's one time, whatever it might be, but you take all that out and just say left-handed pitching in general. You're talking about that bottom half of that lineup has been really good against lefties. Plus, the top is still showing great numbers, right?
Right,
so it's
right. It's not like the top half is weak by any stretch.
Yeah, exactly. So that might be a way to look at it. If you want to look over at the Yankee side against right-handed pitching, they're going against Scherzer. You were talking to me about this before. Scherzer coming off of the injured list. I think you said it's his second start. That's the reason I put up this Yankees team going up against right-handed pitching and not just Scherzer, because Scherzer of old is a little different than what we're seeing right now with Scherzer.
Yeah, exactly. His velocity is down a few miles per hour. He had an injured finger. And look, when your job is to throw the baseball with speed and power, that finger being injured, I mean, it's everything to you. It affects the grip, it affects the velocity, it affects the rotation. It is your tool. I mean that's what you use. And
Right.
so I think with him coming back while he's still working to get back to where he was, yeah, it's just not there yet. And this is a lineup that is ready to pounce against anybody that shows any sort of vulnerability.
Okay. Well, we have Joe Neuenfeld saying that the Blue Jays are plus 140 to win the series, right? So it's a 3-game series. He feels like the line, it might be off. So you might have a value here of plus 140. Do you like that at all for them to take 2 of 3 from the Yankees?
I actually really like that look, Joe, simply because Toronto is the best team in the major leagues playing at home. They are, see here, they are 25-16 at home this season. When they're on the road, they're 20-22. So, hey, I will take that when they're at home all day long. So, yeah, for them to feasibly win 2 out of 3, that's not a huge stretch.
Okay. We also have another look right here. Nonsense McGee is saying the Yankees, who you're just talking about, but also the Rays minus 1.5. So the run line and minus 1.5 look like solid plays. Mark, what does the model say on these games, sir?
Well, I'll tell you this. Nonsense. Tip of the JustAStatSports.com hat to you, my friend, because you have you've cherry picked my 2 favorite plays that I gave out on the site already this morning. So, yeah, I love these. These are great looks for both these games today. I just think that the Rays are prime to cover against the Athletics, and I think the Yankees can beat, if they get to Scherzer quickly, I think that they can beat the Blue Jays and handily.
Okay. So those are good plays to go ahead and look at. Joe is feeling better about your endorsement of his plays. And so we'll continue on. So anytime we can make Joe happy, we're good.
Exactly. And I will add one more play for that Tampa Ray game. I'll just give this one out. If you don't like the plus 125 number for the run line, look at the Tampa Bay Rays first 5 minus a half a run. That's at minus 130. And you really get to take advantage of Drew Rasmussen's ability to keep teams off the scoreboard for the first 5 innings, and the Athletics vulnerability in Jacob Lopez, who has just been throwing batting practice every time he comes out on the mound this season. So that's another look.
Somebody had that on Coaching Company, or maybe it might have been you, that talked about Drew Rasmussen. It might have been in the member exclusive. I don't remember. It's been a long day. But there is a question from the chat. Nasinski wants to know, when's the store going up?
A lot sooner versus later, that's for sure. This was a first order run. Order run. So we're getting the bugs and kinks worked out of that. But yes, we will soon have a spot where you can get JustAStatSports.com stuff. You can get DGs logoed. Oh yeah, all the stuff.
Let's do it.
We got to figure out a logo for Robbie Hockey, or maybe we just go with him flexing.
That's all you need, him flexing. Speaking of flexing, let's go ahead and flex on the people. What you got on your play, man?
I am going with, we've already hit on both these guys and why I like both of them. But we're going to take Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Jackson Holliday, each to have a hit, put them both together for plus 104. You got 2 of baseball's hottest young bats. And with Jackson Holliday, he has been lighting it up for the Orioles when they play on the road. He's racked up hits in 80% of his 4 of his last 5 games, 7 out of his last 10 road games. He's sitting on a 600 hit rate over the last 30 days when playing on the road. That is the kind of consistency that you want from a leadoff guy, and he's showing no sign of slowing down, especially facing against Corbin, who he has a great history against. Flip over to Toronto with Vlad Guerrero, and he's been an absolute nightmare for the Yankees. He's piled up hits in 86% of his career head-to-head matches with the Pinstripes. I love this spot for Guerrero to get at least 1 hit. He's hitting 730 at home this year. Look for him to have another one. Put them both together for plus 104.
I love it. I love it. I'm already on Vladdy. I think Robbie might be on Vladdy as well, looking at him in different ways. And so, however you want to slice it, maybe he cashes for everybody, no matter how you play him tonight. I'm going to go with my play right here, and we're going to go. I talked about him earlier. I said I had to play on Ramon Laureano. And so you look at I'm looking at his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's at minus 120. It's a little juicy, but honestly, minus 120 doesn't scare me at all. I would even go up to minus 130, minus 135 on this play. That's how much I like it. But 5 straight with 2+ hits, runs, and RBIs. He's only 1 for 3 lifetime versus Patrick Corbin, which doesn't scare me at all because sometimes that's just how it is. But Patrick Corbin, I already said, he's already trailing back to the old Patrick Corbin Day celebration. He's last 3 starts averaging 4 earned runs on 7 hits. So because of that, I think that they get after him today. And Ramon Laureano might be the reason for that. I've looked at you can look at his singles if you want to play a single. If you want to look at an RBI, if you want to look at a run, there's different ways you can play it. I just want to make it as easy as possible. Put it all together. A little over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for Mr. Ramon Laureano.
Again, right, I love that play simply because he's on the bookend of that Gunnar Henderson who is struggling against Corbin. That's a great look right there.
Yes. I'll take that any day. All right. This is what I suck at. So I'm going to go ahead and let you lead off. But we're playing today on our daily dinger. You're looking at Judge, which is plus 175, which is nuts. Cal Raleigh at a plus 220 is practically nuts. But then you had a guy that we talked about earlier in Gary Sanchez at plus 380, O'Neal Cruz plus 390, Bobby Witt Jr. plus 430. We even got a Ellie De La Cruz earlier. I believe it was Nonsense McGee that was talking about playing his at plus 260 or something, whatever it might be. We already know Robbie's on Jackson Holiday at plus 575. He's off the board. Are you on the board, off the board, Mark?
I am on the board, and Ellie De La Cruz was at plus 750. So there is that. That's a huge one. Look, I know Pittsburgh has struggled to put up runs, but the one consistent piece of that offense is Mr. O'Neal Cruz. I love this spot. He has one of the most fluid swings you will ever see from a power hitter that doesn't look like he's just crushing the ball, but he absolutely smashes it. I love this spot. He's already got 2 home runs against, now the pitcher just blanked me.
Jesus.
Andrew Heaney. No, Eric Fetty. That's who. Heaney's pitching for the Pirates. Fetty is the one who's serving up meatballs to O'Neal Cruz. And I love this spot for O'Neal Cruz, especially in the first inning where Fetty has given up a ton of first inning runs.
Okay. Well, I like that one. At the chat, if you have one for me, I would love to get your opinion on this. But Mark, as I grab the handy dandy 8-ball.
I love that you brought it. I love that you brought it into the office.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got it. I actually right next to me. So I need you to give me somebody. If the chat gives me somebody as well, we'll look at all of them. But I need you to give me somebody, whether he's on the board, off the board, somebody. I'm always just locked and loaded. Who you got?
I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna go with Bobby Witt Jr. And there's a reason why for this. And I'll tell you as soon as we make this pick. Go ahead.
All right.
And if it doesn't work for him, I'll give you another one.
All right, hold on. It says concentrate and ask again. So hold on, Mr. Witt, please hit a home run. It is decidedly so. The 8-ball doesn't lie. So why are we backing Bobby Witt Jr. today?
Because our Just a Stat Sports Player of the Day has hit 8 days in a row.
Oh.
And today the model has Bobby Witt Jr. under 1.5 hits. So my fear was that he hits a home run and possibly sparks an offensive run and kills our phenomenal run right now. So
we're going to play both sides.
I think that there's a middle here, and not to sound Raphael-esque, but I think we can play the middle here. there's a middle somewhere that gets us both to the other side the way that we want to end up. So yeah, all right. You know what? Let's hope that's his only hit for the night and we keep rolling.
All right. Well, I'm seeing in the chat from Nonsense McGee. He's saying Eugenio Suarez. So I'm going to ask Mr. 8-Ball if he can tell us whether or not Eugenio Suarez, and this will not be my daily dinger because I've already picked it. My sources say no. Do not play Suarez is what Mr. 8-Ball says. So
my sources.
Listen, Nonsense McGee. I was told by a very special friend to not play Suarez. And I'm going to play Bobby Witt, a.k.a. Bozo Witt, according to Robbie Hockey, because he just never can get him on track. But we're going to go ahead and go with that. And so you're going O'Neal Cruz, and I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. at plus 430. Anything else you got for the good people here on a beautiful Monday?
I'm hoping that is so true today.
No, we're loading up. The Daily Dinger is going Bobby Witt. First at bat, crank it.
I look, we've got a handful of baseball games. And I think if that does nothing, it's not necessarily a down day over here, especially at Justice Stat Sports. We're gearing up for football. We've got NFL player prop for the futures markets that are coming out now. I can tell you we are already up to 10 pages of player props in their future and with their lines and everything else. It gives you some historical data to look at. So those will be posted up to the site here, I believe, this coming weekend, July 5th is when we'll have those up. I had to make sure I had to write that down. So yeah, we'll have NFL. Things are still building and brewing, and we got bigger and better things coming up. And yeah, we'll be taking a little bit of baseball.
I love it. I love baseball, but man, the summertime, I just I step away a little bit. I still dig into baseball because I love it so much. But if it's a time for you that you want to step away from betting a little bit, that's okay. Like maybe go cut your unit size in half, whatever you're normally betting. If it is $20, cut in half, do 10. Maybe do some parlays for fun and do one and then just be done and just kind of step away. But it's okay to step away. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to honestly not bet for, a week and just see if you can cleanse you a little bit to get you back on track if you're having a bad time. So little things like that can kind of help you and kind of stay mentally locked in and not be so worn out. But there's a lot that's going on around the world. Spend time with family, spend time with your friends, hang out with us. Whether or not you bet, whether or not you just hang out, and you're trying to make sure you're looking in different ways to dissect baseball, but maybe in the future football. Always hang out with us because we'll be here. And honestly, can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. Here 2:00 Eastern, Monday through Friday. We'll make sure that we're locked and loaded tomorrow. Mark is in the host chair. He'll be welcoming in Robbie. They'll be back here for back-to-back days. Just like, hey, I'll take the break. I'll take the days off. I don't mind. So, but that's all we have. Thank you all again for hanging out with us right here at Weekday Wagers.